Good morning, guys. So I am gonna head out and check on the sheep. We actually moved them over to a new pasture this last weekend, so I've been kind of keeping an eye on them because it's all hot wire. So I kind of want to make sure they're not really used to that. So I want to make sure that they're staying within where they're supposed to be. But I also thought maybe we'd do a quick walk around and kind of show you where we're at with the garden and what we have yet to plant and what we're going to be doing next. So we'll head down to the sheep area first. I can get the dogs to quit being stupid, and we'll see how they are this morning. Stay. Okay, so this is our main pasture, and we currently have 16 lambs left. So they are weaned from their moms. About fell over the gate. They're weaned from their moms right now. And so they basically have this whole center pasture. And then we brought the creep feeder out here. I just opened that gate so they don't have to go through that because there's no one, no more moms left. So they are kind of butted up to where the ewes are at. So they kind of really hang next to this fence line. So they will probably be going here in the next couple of weeks. But they're all doing good. There, see, they can see their mamas on the other side of that gate. And so this is kind of what we call our main pasture. It's where they are for lambing and stuff. And this little piece that's west of it, we just never really used it for much of anything. So we've always talked about fencing it in and just weren't quite sure how we were going to do it. So this last weekend, we finally bit the bullet and got some. Actually, we had all the electric fence setup that we typically use for our paddocks. So we didn't have to really buy anything. It was just a matter of planning it out and doing it. So we put up 4-strand hot wire and then moved these guys over. We were guessing about 1.5 acres to 2 acres. So it just becomes one more pasture that's literally connected to everything else we already had. And so far, knock on wood, I think everybody's good. I'm gonna climb over here and just double check. So as you can see, they're starting to shed out, which is what they do this time of year. So they're Katahdin hair sheep. So they do not have wool, meaning they don't need to be sheared. And so, chewing on my hand. So once it starts warming up, they'll start shedding out that excess hair, which means they're going to rub up on fences, which you can see, I think, down here, little line of junk. But yeah, so right down in there, you can tell where they've starting to rub up on it. But yeah, our main goal here is, to utilize this little bit of acreage that we had that we really just didn't use otherwise. And so far they seem to be doing good. It's the best grass that we have for this time of year just so far. Because it's so new to them, I have coming out and checking, like I said, making sure they're staying within their fences and that everybody's good. But we have this line of trees, and I've got the water tank tucked up in there just because I can reach it with the hose from the yard. So I've been kind of coming down and just verifying that they are getting to the water, which it looked like they were yesterday. So everybody should be good. But they have come through this and done, a pretty good job in the last just couple of days cleaning up underneath of these trees. So that was kind of one of the main goals, was to kind of get that cleaned up. And I would love to run some pigs down here at some point once they're out of here. So if the sheep do the first part and then bring the pigs in to do the next. And I think I have Aaron on board to get some kuni pigs. So our neighbors have them, and they're more of a lard pig. They're slower growing. It's a heritage breed, and they're pasture pigs. So if we can get this little timberish area kind of fenced off for them after the sheep are gone through here, then I think it would be a really good spot for them, and I think they do a good job of kind of cleaning it up. So come on, guys. Come on. So yeah, I just kind of come up through here. We cleared out a spot so they could easily get to the tank. But it looks like, oh good, it's down a couple inches. So it looks like they have found it, so that's good. They're still, I think, kind of unsure about being down here because they can see that other pasture and they're like, this grass is awesome, but we'll go back to our regular spot now. So we got a burn pile that down there we got to take care of, but that's the shed that blew down in the storm. So that's kind of all got to be cleaned up yet, but they don't really seem to mind it. But we ran the hot wire all the way around right to the back of those bales. Little bit of concern whether they were gonna try to get through to the bales, but I think as long as there's plenty of green grass in here and we kind of keep an eye on them, move them to the next pasture before they get curious about them, it'll be just fine. So sometimes they'll follow me around when I'm out here, and today they don't really care. So on this one you can really see how she's shedding out quite a bit. Hi, Mama. What do you think? So get rid of all that, and actually I think running them underneath these trees for a little bit, kind of helps get all that access off. And so most of these right here that you're seeing are pure Katahdin, so they tend to shed out better, like this black one here. And then Pepe up here, they have Dorper in them, so they don't shed out as well, but man, they're really good mamas. So Daisy's a cool one. I don't think she'll shed out that great. I about fell. Shed out that great, but she ended up being a really good mom too. So I always feel bad for them a little bit when it's so hot in the summer, but they seem to do just fine. Yeah, that one. This one's Betty, and she, you can tell, has all that Dorper in there as well. She's actually out of Pepe, the one that I just showed you here a bit ago. But they kind of carry those thick blankets on their back, and if we had some shears, I would definitely try to clean that up just for summertime. But sometimes that will come off in just one big sheet. So you think it's a dead sheep laying out there, and you go out and it's just like this sheet of hair. What are you doing, Dahlia? You like my boots? Hi. You like it down here? Okay, so everybody seems to be good out there. Little ones are doing just fine. These guys are being all standoffish. They're not nearly as trained as their moms, obviously, and just not used to me just yet. Plus, we pinned them the other day and weighed them again and wormed them to kind of see where they're at. So they're a little skeptical, I think. So the nice thing about this time of year, at least with the sheep, there's not really a ton of chores to do. I'm not carrying buckets every day or graining them and that sort of thing. Just making sure they have water in their tanks and that no one's stuck in a fence or gotten out or anything. So easy peasy this time of year. We like that. So I thought we'd do a quick walkthrough of here. This is where we lost that little barn and then got the new one and kind of transformed this whole area that we weren't really expecting to do this year, but it happened, and things happen for a reason, and now it looks really nice. So the strawberries all got moved. They really bounced back really well, and I was surprised. These are all June bearing, and first time last year, or I planted them for the first time last year So we'll see if we get any berries on them. And then this one, we actually moved that asparagus as well. And honestly, holy cow, there were so many roots under there. I wasn't quite sure, but clearly those took off and need to be picked. And then I just did a couple things on the end, some radishes, carrots. Gosh, I got a picture on my phone. What all? I think there's dill, maybe some lettuce. Oh, yeah, out. Just kind of filled in a few things early that I could plant. And then these are onions. I need to come in and get some weeding done today, it looks like. And then another rows of lettuce and that sort of thing. Walkie out. Oh, I did do little snap peas. So this is a little snap pea coming up. And my hopes is that it'll kind of trellis up my little archway here. Oh, these darn things. So don't ever plant morning glories. As beautiful as they are, they will take over your whole life. This is like, I don't even know, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe more, I planted them. And they just come up everywhere and take over, vine across everything. Don't do it. This is obviously rhubarb, and man, is it taken off, and actually it's seeding out so much. So I need to come in and cut those seed heads off so that I can start harvesting that. I don't know, I feel like it's a little early this year for it, but maybe not. So yeah, definitely need to get some of that cut and get that going on that, because it's packed in here. I say it so many, like the last couple of years, I need to come in and thin this out. And then every time I'm like, well, it's probably a little late now to thin it out. I should have done it earlier this spring. So yeah, I need to still do that, or in the fall or something. These are the potato bags, and oh, there we go. They're just starting to get little potatoes on them. I have noticed they really get dried out way quicker than just an in-ground. So I need to come out and water those. I think we're actually going to get some rain this afternoon. So if we don't, then I'll definitely water them tonight. And then the potato bed doesn't quite need hilled yet. There's, oh, here, I did see a couple coming up. Right there. So that's a potato coming through. I probably just need to go through and weed and do that, but kind of when I hill, that'll happen as well. So one other thing I'm excited about, and if you happen to see one of our past videos, when we first started doing this area, I declared that I was gonna sneak home with some rabbits at some point, because we had rabbit hutches from when the kids had them when they were littler, and then they just sat empty. So why not have rabbits in there, right? And then I can collect the poop and put it on the garden. And so we were out in Kelowna, my mom and I, last week, buying some flowers and stuff, and this gal had some rabbits out front of the bakery. They were little mini Rex rabbits, which is kind of the breed I was looking at anyhow. And so in talking to her, it was her little boys' project, and yeah, won me over. So I came home with 3 of them. I mean, I have 3 cages, so it only makes sense, right? So for right now, and they're young, but for right now, they're all in the same cage, because I just want them to feel like super comfy. Hi, little babies. Don't jump out of there. But oh my God, they're so cute and so soft. A little skittish. But I put this bucket in here just for, I had hay in it, but they kind of got into it and ate it, I suppose. But yeah, so for now, they're all together because they're not old enough to breed, and I just want them to get comfortable, and then they'll get moved over, so they each have their own little hut. They're so little, and apparently the little mini Rex, we've never had this breed before, but they don't get very big. There's a full-size Rex rabbit, then these are the minis, so they only get, I think, like 4 or 5 pounds. They are a meat rabbit, and I did actually look into Ella possibly showing them at the fair, which she says no, but they're considered a fancy breed for show purposes as far as that. But we tried sexing them to see what we have boy girl wise, and actually the gal and I did it while we were out at Kelowna to see. The best we can tell is we have 1 male and 2 females, so we'll see in the near future if we end up having babies. Yeah, I might make that happen. I don't know, we'll see, but God, are they adorable. Yeah, you can't jump out, buddy. You gotta pack up a little. Don't jump out. So for now, I just have a couple of mineral buckets below here to catch their droppings, and I'll have to probably get some sort of a wash tub or something under there that I can dump it out of. But yeah, they're so cute, and I'm so excited about them. They're, again, you know, something that's super low maintenance. Hi, Bunny. So like I said, we went out and got some flowers out in Kelowna, Iowa, which is not too terribly far from us. So I've got a couple of things left to plant yet, and looks like they need some water today too. But also, our local FSA office, or NRCS office, was offering, they had rain barrels and that you could purchase. So I talked Aaron into letting me get one of those, and then he built me just this little homemade gutter system that goes off the chicken coop. So if there's a drought this year, you're welcome. I'm like, yeah, we're not gonna get rain now that I put in a dang rain barrel, but hopefully tonight or tomorrow. So I did go ahead and put some water in it from the hose just to weigh it down a little bit, so it didn't blow off there. But even just so far, I've used it to water the rabbits. Like I can just, it's got a little spigot on the bottom, and while I'll have to drag the hose over to water the sheep through here, it's just nice to have that. I don't have to drag a hose clear across the yard, and I can just do a quick fill up there. I can fill up the watering can to water the gardens boxes that are over here. So we also had an old tank that we had laying around, so I stuck that here in front of it. We just put some cardboard and wood and stuff in there to kind of fill it up. We've got to bring some dirt up yet to fill it. But I think in this one, originally I thought about sunflowers to kind of, but I think they're going to be too tall for right there. So we'll probably do some zinnias and that kind of thing, just because I love zinnias. They bloom all summer long, and you can save the seeds, and I've got jars full of them inside. So I'm sure that's got to go right there as soon as we get some dirt in there. Probably, hopefully within the next few days or this weekend maybe. So over here we have kind of to the end of blooming, I think, but I put some tulips on each end of this metal wash tub, and then that's our garlic, and it's doing really pretty good. It does look like I need to come in and pull some grass out probably. So there's always, you know, I'm always behind on weeding, whatever, it's fine. Can only do so much, right? So yeah, that's looking pretty good. And we got a couple solar chargers for fencing, just out in the sun, kind of getting some sun. So I'll show you how we have that one set up for the sheep as well. When we used to do paddocks in our main sheep pasture, we tried 2-strand and 3-strand, and they just seem to somehow get out. Now with the hair, and especially those Dorper ones, once they figure it out, they're not getting shocked, because that hair is protecting them from getting that electric fence. So we'll keep a close eye on them and make sure we're moving them back into the other pasture before hopefully that happens. Anyhow, this is the solar charger that we have for this one. I think actually this was my birthday present or Mother's Day present last year. I'm not sure. I don't remember which one. So, so we have it right here on the corner that I can come turn it off real quick if I need to get in there. Otherwise, like I did earlier, I just went through the pasture and climbed the gate, and then I don't have to turn anything off. But when I fill that water tank, I'll have to, you know, obviously turn it off for that. So, so yeah, it turned out really nice. Not that I didn't think it wouldn't, but it looks a lot nicer than I thought it was going to. The worst part is keeping the grass down underneath of it, as far as so it doesn't come up and cause it to, you know, short out or whatever it's called. I don't know. I'm not an electrician. So I'm assuming, yeah. So this is the other side of where I was at earlier. Looks like the ewes are up against that fence, and they'll come down here. There's plenty to eat on. So I would think that oh, I see them. They're clear up on that other side of the hill. Clear over there. So they're figuring out. They're exploring just a little bit, so that's good. I really kind of think they'll clear up underneath these trees almost before they work on this grass, but we'll see. So yeah, they're doing good. God. Healers. They're so energetic and good gravy. Okay, so heading over to like the main garden, I guess we call it. Oh, our peacock's all showing off. So we did have 2 guineas, and the neighbors get guineas ended up coming down here. And we ended up with theirs. They just randomly showed up in the yard one day. So they took our 2 guineas with them, and then they got out again. And honestly, I don't know if R2's over there or if where they ended up, but they've been roaming the countryside, and it was kind of a funny ordeal where all the neighbors were messaging each other saying, hey, they're here, they're over here. And they went on an adventure, because it's a good country mile for sure that they were running around. So I think they got them caught. At least 4 of the 6 they got caught. So so yeah, the main garden is yet to be planted. That is probably on my list today as well, if I can get my actual business work done first. Ella and I planted 350 tulip bulbs in here last year. Again, kind of not thinking that, oh duh, they gotta die off before you can pull the bulbs and plant, you know, garden stuff in here. But they're not in all of these, so it'll be just fine. Did not get 350 that came up, but the ones we did are really pretty, and I'm assuming some of these littler ones maybe, I don't know if they're already, looks like they're already done. It was a variety pack, so I don't really know, Walker, I don't really know if there's more yet to come or not, but I kind of don't want to pull them up until I know for sure. But I can interseed like some dill through here, and honestly, I can probably get some peppers in there as well. But I need to sit down and kind of see where I'm at as far as planting and what needs to go where. I have not planned any of this out this year, which is not like me, but it won't take long. I think I got all the seeds anyhow. So this is some poppies that are coming up from last year. So I'm kind of excited about that, because I love poppies. I've just never had a place to put them until we had these tanks. So really not a ton or anything exciting out here just yet, but I'm gonna sit down and make a plan. And then before you know it, they'll be coming up, and we'll be harvesting stuff. So hi, Wonky. Good gravy. So if you happen to catch our last video, it was about planting the green stock, and I did mainly lettuce seed in there in these little seed houses. I think I ended up with a couple radishes and a couple of them, but when we got flowers, I got some of these little wave petunias. I just love them. They're so cute and dainty, and a couple different herbs and put in there. So that filled up nicely. I don't know. Oh, there. You can kind of see there's a weed in there, but right there, that should be lettuce seed coming up of a variety. So it's getting there. Somewhere I saw the one that has radishes in it. It's doing really good. Oh, here. This one. Ooh. There. Probably need to come in and thin those out. But yeah, I don't know if those little seed houses make a big difference this time of year. If I would have planted them a little bit earlier, I suppose probably so. But it always looks much nicer once I get those flowers filled in and all the pockets are full of something. So I also have another one of these, and I don't have a plan for that yet either. So I just need to sit down and make some decisions on what needs to go where, because we're kind of getting down to crunch time as far as, I suppose, or at least start time, as far as getting stuff in the ground or seeds in the ground. So we'll work on that this afternoon as well. I wanted to come out here and show you guys all the blooms on these fruit trees, because last week, man, I should have done a video, or got a bit of video. I mean, I think maybe I got a few. At least I know I got pictures, but they were so full of blooms last week, and it was gorgeous out here. So they're starting to kind of dwindle down a little bit. There's quite a few, but you can see where they were dying off a little bit there, which means we'll hopefully have a lot of apples this year. They were just loaded and beautiful. You can still see a few in there. I can never remember what's what out here. I have it all written down in the house as far as what type of apple and when they'll be ready, but this particular one right here last year was so very good. The peach trees, there's a few blooms. Last year we got nothing, so I really have way better hopes this year. There, that one's got some pretty ones on it. There's quite a few on that one. We did a lot of trimming too, so this past winter we did trim quite a few down, so hopefully that will help, and maybe as long as we don't have a late frost again like we did last year, we'll get some peaches off of it this year. And then against this shed is, these are all heritage red raspberries. It's my apple picker fell over. So they're not quite got blooms on them yet, but they should have fruit on them June, and then again in September. So it won't be long and they'll be blooming out as well. But they look pretty good. They filled in real nice. We'll just take a little walk over and check on our 2 cows and my ram. It does look like their water tank needs filled, so we'll do that here pretty soon. Hi, Daisy. You can tell she was a bottle baby. She always comes up and says hi. What do you think, Mama, huh? Yeah, hi. Hi. Good morning. Ella's longhorn. A little standoffish, but well, I got the dogs out here with me too, so they're kind of like, yeah. I don't know if I can get the ram to come up here any closer, but he's shedded out really nice. Come on, guys. They always look a little frazzled or kind of rough when they're shedding out, but once they do, they look so nice. Walkie, be nice. Come on, guys. Hi, cowboy. What's up, buddy? What do you think? You come say hi? Huh? Good morning. But yeah, so they are on what we refer to as our hillside pasture. And then this is all connected. So where the sheep were at, and then that center pasture, and it all connects, so it becomes larger paddocks that we can move the sheep around. So these guys will be in here for, well, it doesn't look like too much longer unless we get that rain and the grass grows a little bit more, but they'll get moved down to our bottom pasture, what we call it, where the creek is, and that's kind of where they'll be most of the summer, if not all of the summer. I can't remember. I know last year we moved my sheep down there because they'll go in with the ram come July, again for breeding. And I know we moved them all down there. I don't remember I think they were all down there together, but they're kind of, Aaron calls them the misfits, just because we only have one little calf that never grew, you know, extremely fast. She's doing just fine, but and then my ram. So anyhow, they'll get moved down to that next pasture here pretty soon, and then we'll hopefully get going on these other 3 pastures, and we can rotate the sheep down and have grass and not have to worry about hay for a while or any sort of grain. So that's always kind of a nice time of year when some of the chores kind of alleviate just a little bit, and we can just kind of enjoy seeing them out in pasture and the green grass and doing what they love. I almost forgot to come video these. We got a new incubator, if you've seen any of our last videos as well, and are going to be starting pheasant eggs here within the next few days. But because it's new, we wanted to kind of do a test run. So we threw some chicken eggs in there and hatched out, I'm guessing probably less than 50% hatched. However, I think we have an issue with our rooster. I don't know if he's not doing his job or what, but we had a couple other scenarios where they just didn't have great hatchings. So, but we did get some babies, and maybe we can see a little better that way. And they're growing so fast. So we have, our rooster is a speckled Sussex. So you can see a lot of that on these little wings that are starting to develop, and they're adorable. They are kind of almost out of their cute little fluffy stage already. But these are going to go to our son's house. He's going to get some chickens, and so these are going to be his first ones. So actually next week too, and I'll have to do a video on it once we get them, but we'll be getting our meat birds next week. We get the Cornish cross from McMurray. So those are set to ship out next week. So he's going to take some of those as well to raise for his own freezer. So he'll have lots of baby chicks at his house come next week. So looks like I need to pull out this water and refill that again. Oh shit. You're fine. There. I'll just do all the things this morning. So I will say too, while we're out here, I thought maybe I'd talk a little bit about the chicks. So these are what we refer to as called a barnyard mix, meaning I have multiple different breeds of hens in our outside coop, and then, like I said, our rooster is a speckled Sussex. So they're going to be, a mixed breed, which most of what we have, actually all of what we have, is some sort of a brown egg layer. So they'll be just fine for that. Obviously, we'll see how many little roosters we end up with, because it seems like it never fails. There's a few roosters or so in there, but that's to be expected as well. And there's really just nothing like hatching your own eggs, and it's like super excited. We are exciting to see them hatch. On hatch day, it was Easter Sunday, and Aaron and I literally spent the day out in the shop just watching to see if there was new pips or kind of how many we were going to end up with. And it was just kind of a fun, relaxing day, and exciting again to get some more chicks. And watch them emerge from their little shells. So I turned the red light off just for video purposes, but we do have a heat lamp on them right now. We have them in our walk-in cooler kind of set up in a little cage that works for a brooder box until Co's able to come get them next week. And then they're getting just a chick starter feed and just plain old water for these guys. So pretty easy. Just got to make sure. They probably could use some fresh bedding here this afternoon, so I'll get that done and we'll just kind of layer that in there as well. But yeah, they're cute little things, and it's always a fun part of spring and having baby chicks. So I just checked the radar, and it does look like we're actually gonna get some rain here in just a little bit. So I wanted to do some mushroom hunting today. We've been actually picking some the last couple of weeks, and we had enough that we could make a little meal out of it. Just a couple of us in our family actually enjoy them, and by mushrooms I'm talking about morel mushrooms. It's just kind of it's a fun thing that I don't know if they're popular everywhere, just the Midwest and north in Wisconsin or whatever, but this time of year we pick them and you make a meal out of them, and it's a huge thing. Like, people go nuts over them. There's like Facebook pages for them, there's maps about where they're at. It's kind of funny, but for us it's like, it's what I grew up doing with my dad. I remember going mushroom hunting, and so we try to always get him some for his birthday, and actually we were able to already get him some, but we had a really nice day yesterday. It was like 70 degrees. So I'm gonna just go down and take a quick break from what I'm working on at home and take a walk through the timber with the dogs, see what we can find. So we have a spot that we kind of always religiously check, and we have found, like I said, we've already found some down there, but we're just gonna go take a quick peek and see what we can find. Chase is actually way better at finding mushrooms than I am, and when he was little, or the kids were little, I always used to tell him the excuse was that they were closer to the ground so they could find them, better than I could, but he can still definitely find them better than me, so apparently that theory was thrown out the window. The dogs enjoy the walk, and we'll be down by the creek. Got a heck of a steep hill, so we'll see what we can find. Oh, thank you for that. Soaked my leg. We just have this little creek, and not a whole lot of water in it right now because we just really haven't had a whole lot of rain this spring, but the dogs love coming down here and getting all muddy. This is actually one of my favorite little spots back in our timber, and I don't know how well you can see from this camera angle on my phone, but it is full of these little wild violets. Let's see there. But they're so pretty all through here this time of year. It's kind of one of the ways that, we're like, oh, it's almost mushroom season. This whole little area just starts filling up with these purple blooms, and you can make jelly out of them. So that is on my someday list. That and dandelion jelly. I'd love to try those too. And I think it's just basically kind of making like a tea out of them with the flower petals, and then making jelly with it with pectin and sugar. But they're just so pretty, and I just love them. You guys gotta learn how to sniff out mushrooms. So the last week or so, we were finding the little grays, and obviously they're littler, they're grayer, and that looks like a yellow, but really starting to dry out. So, but yeah, there's the first one for the day. Yay. See if we can find any more to go with it. Come on, let's go. So one other thing growing up, and I don't know who told it to me or whatever, but one of the things to look for, just as a, hey, mushrooms are out or whatever, are these little May apples. And I don't think it's necessarily that you find them, the mushrooms around them, but it's that when they're up, then it's typically time for the mushrooms to be up as well. So there's always this little patch right here that we kind of check. And they've been coming up for a while now. And then I know people, I think, are always like, where do you look for them? Well, I was always told an east facing hillside, because they get that morning sun, and under dead elm trees, which I don't think we have any. Maybe we do, I have no idea right now. But that's not, where we found them in the last week or so anyhow. So yeah, those are just a couple of things that you look for. I don't know that we're gonna have a hugely successful hunt today, but more than anything, I wanted to get out and go for a walk before it started raining, so then I can do inside work while it's raining outside. Okay, so that was kind of a quick little walk / mushroom hunt, but it is starting to sprinkle out, so I'm gonna head back, and I ended up with 4 yellows, so not a ton or anything, but we'll take them back and wrap them in a wet paper towel and put them in the fridge, and then just start adding to them and see what we end up getting. And honestly, once we kind of have our meal with them once a year, we'll if our eldest son doesn't want some, or if he's already had some, we'll just take some down to a neighbor. And we already, like I said, took some over to my mom and dad, so that's taken care of. And I don't know how many we'll get. We'll see. If it's supposed to rain again today, and it has cooled off since yesterday, but there might be more yet to come. So thanks so much for joining me today, and in what started out to be a little bit of a walk around the yard / garden tour that's non-existent basically so far this year, and ended up with a little bit of a walk through our timber. So we hope you'll continue to join us, and next video should include setting pheasant eggs in our new incubator. So hit that like and subscribe button if you would, and come back and join us again next time.